Zimbabwean villager Jeremiah Gandu is making his first deposit in the bank. It has 4 legs, bellows and makes deposits of its own in the pasture. The nation's first cattle bank is now open for business, and the currency here is uniquely enough cattle. Before each deposit, the cattle are evaluated and valued by a veterinary official. Their value ranges from as little as $50 to $800, depending on their age, weight, health and breed.
I have decided to try this out by sending 2 of my cows. If it works out, I will send more.
The bank that has pioneered the foray into cattle banking, the independent TN Bank, says the livestock transactions are managed like those of any commercial urban bank. Put in the cows, and then many rural poor can have the chance of opening a bank account for the first time in their lives. Owners are issued with a bank certificate of cattle deposit as a proof of transaction.
If you look at it in Zimbabwe, we've got something like 5 million cattle, and 4 million of those are owned by the communal people. And yet we say they are poor. If you put a value of even $300 onto one cattle, they are into billions. So that's a resource which is not being utilized. The farmers just have the cattle. They don't have any leeway to access anything.
For the first 2 years, the cattle remain with the bank and accrue a 10% yearly interest. For instance, if a farmer deposits 24 cattle valued at some $10,000, that farmer will be getting $1,000 interest in a year, which the government can then give as money or cows valued at that amount, as interest can be paid either in cash or in cows. For the farmers who are also faced with depleted grazing, the move has added advantages.
The obvious benefits, that by giving us their cattle, they've taken away the need to head the cattle themselves. In some areas, the amount of grazing is getting lower and lower, and the animals, you can see they are suffering.
Right now, considering the state our grazing lands are in, it's better to give the cattle to TN Livestock Trust. There is nothing for the cattle to feed on.
The bank picks up the cost of transporting the cattle from outlying areas to paddocks that it has set up across the country, where fattening programs and crossbreeding have been introduced. Many cattle owners may in the past have been reluctant to give up their prized possessions on 4 feet, given the status symbol that they represent in society. That is no longer the case today, as Zimbabwe's farmers are now cashing in on their cows without having to sell them. Wakaba, CCTV.